What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Ted Karras, and whether or not we want to keep him around. As you can see, his contract is up after this year. He will be an unrestricted free agent. We only signed him for a one-year deal for $3 million. And yeah, I want to get into a little bit of film, and then we'll kind of discuss what I'd like to do with him, specifically. So, let's see. We'll watch some of the Bills game. We're not going to literally watch every single snap from every one of these games because I've talked about him throughout the year, but now I want to just look at Ted Karras. So, let's get it where we're on the field. Go ahead and skip to this view. We're looking at the center. I shouldn't have to point the center out. Okay, so first things first. You're going to be in motion to come and help Eric Flowers. Then you're going to climb up to get this linebacker. I'm not going to judge that one because that one might have been the design. And if so, I'm not a big fan of the design there. So I like this climb from Ted. Him and Eric Flowers, I think is that Ed Oliver there? They're going to work together on Ed Oliver. Then Ted is going to climb up to the linebacker. And he's going to move him. If that was a handoff to Gaskin, that would have worked. Now, obviously, there is pressure, but that's not on Ted, so not really concerned with it. The actual result of the play doesn't matter here. It's just, what is Ted doing? First, one thing, though, I don't like the split between Eric and Ted. That's a pretty big gap between them. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not sure why it's like that. Because it looks okay from him to Jesse Davis. I'm guessing that's on Eric Flowers. That's what I would guess. Because Tua and Gaskin are lined up correctly. I just don't like that gap between them. Alright, so he's going to work with Jesse. What happened to Ted here? He get rolled up on by Eric? Yeah, okay. Eric Flowers just kind of rolled up on him. Okay. Fair enough. Now, obviously, if you're familiar with this channel, I've been critical of him in the past. What are you doing? They pulled you in motion over here, but then you didn't do anything. Not sure what that was. So, here's the thing. The center, when it comes to the offensive line, it's the center's job to communicate before the snap so everybody kind of knows their assignment. So, us failing at these gap exchanges is partially on Ted. And he just doesn't look like he knows who he's supposed to block. And that's kind of the center's main job. Like, if the center isn't that good one-on-one, then I can help him out with a guard. I mean, if you're going to have one bad offensive line as far as blocking goes, you do want it to be your center because you can help out with a guard easier than other positions. However, he still needs to be able to communicate properly. That's the main thing for a center for me. And he doesn't look like he knew who he was supposed to block. And see, if Ted would have seen this, then he could have gotten over to dude over Jesse Davis. Maybe he thought this linebacker was coming. I think he thought this linebacker was coming. But there's been a lot of things like that where he just doesn't look like he knows who to block. And honestly, the rest of the offensive line too. And that is also partially on the offensive line coaching. It's definitely part of that, and possibly the offensive coordinator, depending on who designs the run schemes. But also, Ted is the one that's supposed to communicate with them so they know who to block pre-snap. Okay, see, this is a pretty good split. That looks right to me. And it's pretty consistent throughout the line. I don't know what it was earlier. Yeah, we had a guy jump. Whatever. Okay. I don't hate that. It's not actually a run play. That's why he didn't climb up to get to the linebacker. Yeah, I'm going to need you to actually put your hands on this dude, not just kind of bump him with your shoulder. Now, I do realize that is partially on Eric Flowers for not blocking his guy. But at some point, you just kind of got to let Eric Flowers figure this dude out, and you're going to have to go help Jesse Davis, because Jesse Davis just got his ass whooped. Now, I would like Jesse Davis to just not get his ass whooped. But, you know. We're not looking at Jesse Davis right now. You know I don't like him. If you're familiar with this channel. I don't hate that. I actually handled a gap exchange fairly effectively there. We didn't see that too much. That could be a hold. But the ref didn't see it. It didn't happen. So. Watch a little bit more of the Bills game, then we'll go to a different game. Go to maybe Arizona. I'm not going to judge too harshly here. All right, so you got some push, but I mean, you're working with both guards to do so. So, I don't know about that one. It's kind of hard to judge a drive like this when you're that backed up. You're going to work with Eric Flowers. See, you eventually have to just try to kind of just trust your guy, because one of you should have been climbing up to be blocking one of these people. The communication on the offensive line, to me, was the biggest issue. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of talent, but still. And I do realize that he was working with 3 rookies. I do realize that. But even still. Hang on, y'all. All right, let's go. Fuck. Where are we? Sorry about the background noise, guys. All right. That's a pretty good block there. Not bad there. Your D tackle here didn't really rush much of a plan. Is that Oliver 81 or 84? I'm not sure. He's 81. I mean 91 or 94. That's what I meant to say. But he's 91. Okay, so nice little block on the linebacker. Watch your hands there. Let's go to another game. Let's go to like the Cardinals game. Their defense ain't great, especially their D line. So I want to see the disparity here. And our offense did fairly well this game too. So all right, Ted. So you're gonna be. What happened there? Do you miss with your hands? Yeah, you miss with your hands. See, and that's the thing. Like, he's been around too long to be missing with his hands, and he's not the only one. Jesse Davis, and Eric Flowers are both the same way. They've been in the league too long to be missing with your hands. Austin Jackson doing that is one thing, but you should have figured that out by now. I don't mind that. He's kind of getting powered through a little bit. He's not necessarily the most powerful dude in the world. We know that. That's why he does a lot of doubles. But I don't hate it. I just wish he would communicate better. That's my biggest thing with Ted. If he would communicate better, then a lot of this wouldn't be much of an issue for me. See, if Saul McKinley wasn't here to help him, he would have been gone. He just can't really seem to block people one-on-one. But as a center, that's not... I don't necessarily need you to do that. Here's the thing. I don't hate Ted Karras. I just want to upgrade over him eventually. Now, we have a lot of holes in this team. We need... definitely need linebacker help because we're losing like most of our linebackers. We need a one tech. We need a guard because I'm trying to get Eric Flowers out of here. I would like to have a center. We need a receiver. We need a running back. I would like an edge rusher. So like we have so many positions that we might have to look at re-signing Ted Karras realistically. I wouldn't want like a big deal with him. Like if we could get something similar to what we signed him for this year, if we could get like another 1 year, $3 to $4 million, maybe $5 at the max, then I would be okay with that. Just so that we're not going into this draft with yet another position that we have to address because we already have so many. And then if we do get a center, we can maybe develop him under Ted Karras for a year and let him start next year. That would be ideal for me. Or, if something happened to Ted during the season as well. Because, injuries happen. As we've seen this year with our receiving core and running back group. Not bad there from him and Robert Hunt together. But again, he doubles really well. He just doesn't really handle people on his own all that well. And a lot of times the miscommunication is definitely there. But it is possible. To be fair with the communication thing, you're working with 3 rookies without a training camp. So, there is that. That's another reason why I wouldn't mind giving him a 1-year deal as well. Like I said, if you're familiar with this channel, you know I've been very critical of Ted. But just realistically, this team just has so many holes, so many things to improve on that I just feel like we need to re-sign some of these guys. At least for short-term deals until we can address those positions. All right, what happened there? See, you were fine until Eric Flowers came off that block. Then you immediately got beat. But Eric Flowers had to come off that block because of that linebacker. Ted just gets whooped one-on-one. I'm sorry, but he does. He's going to lunge right here. He's going to lunge, and he's going to give up his chest. You see, that's the thing. He misses with his hands. He misses with his hands, and he's not that powerful. That's a really bad combo. And there are going to be situations where you can't double all the time. You just can't. And the worst place to give up pass rush is in the middle. Because at least if it's an edge rusher coming free, the quarterback has a moment to step up or scramble out or get rid of the ball. He has another split second to do those things. But if it's coming forward right in your face, there's not much you can do besides just take the hit and just kind of brace. And I don't think Ted is that great of a center. I really don't. But I'm going to be real with you. There really aren't very many good offensive linemen in the NFL. There really aren't. There's 5 starting offensive linemen on 32 teams. There are not very many there are not very many offensive linemen that should be starters. There just aren't that many good offensive linemen. There just aren't. So we may have to stick with him another year just because we have so many other places to address. I still don't really like the Austin Jackson pick, to be honest. I didn't like it last year. I still don't like it. I'm hoping he develops, but right now I think we're losing a lot there. So we may have to think about re-signing him. How are we doing on time? We'll go a little longer. A little bit more film. But we've pretty much seen a lot of Ted Karras throughout the year. Like, I've talked about him a lot. It's a good block there. He does do it sometimes. See, here's the thing. When he does, because he does have good knee bend. His base is good. His feet are okay. He keeps his feet moving through contact. But he misses with his hands. But look, when he does get his hands inside, it looks good. It's just not consistent. He misses with his hands a lot, and he's not that powerful. But when he doesn't miss with his hands, his blocks look solid. And he also tends to lunge. I think he lunges because he knows he misses with his hands. So he's trying to get a hold of you faster. But against some of these monsters that you face in the NFL, that's going to get you killed. That just is what it is. See right there, he got his hands inside, got a good knee bend, good base, and he stopped this dude. But when he misses with his hands, he doesn't have the strength to recover from that one-on-one. That's the thing. When Ted Karras slips up, like some offensive linemen, for example, Solomon Kinley. If Solomon Kinley misses with his hands, he's strong enough to potentially recover from that. To be able to push you back with just the sheer strength until he can get his hands back inside. But Ted Karras can't do that on his own. If he has help, it's fine. And he also misses on the outside too. So, yeah. I think that's more than enough. So we're gonna look at his contract again. Again, to me, if we can get another year of him for a similar deal for like $3 to $5 million, I'd be okay with that. Maybe 2 years at the most, at like $3 million a year. Just until we can address center, just because I think he's not awful. He's not as awful as some of the other positions I feel like we need to address. Like linebacker, we're losing like everybody. We're losing Landon Roberts. We're losing pretty much all of our depth at linebacker. And that's a big problem too because those are your special teams guys too. We definitely need a receiver that can create space. I would like a running back. I think most of us would like a running back. Safety would be nice, but I don't think it's realistic this year. There aren't that many good safeties. An edge rusher would be good. We definitely need a nose tackle. So, yeah, we just have so many places to address. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick retires or leaves, we're going to need a backup quarterback as well. So, again, we have a lot to address. So, if we can get him for a reasonable deal for another year, I might be okay with that. Because right now, our backup center is Michael Dieter. And I'm not trying to start Michael Dieter. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Ted Karras, but if it's Ted Karras or Michael Dieter can get pushed off the highest of bridges. I don't want that dude. I didn't want him when we drafted him. I don't want him now. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, I appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.